Welcome to this weekend edition of the newscast on Equinoxe Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Babla Jonathan. In our top stories in this edition of the news, after close to 2 years in detention in the Kondengi maximum security prison in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, the first vice president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement CRM political party, Mamadou Mota, is free. Tonight we'll take you into what lawyers have qualified as the illegal and arbitrary arrest, trial and detention of Mamadou Mota. It took a diplomatic fight to maintain Cameroon's authority on the Bakassi Peninsula in the southwest region of the country, hit by 4 years socio-political and security crisis. Several years after Cameroon won the diplomatic battle against neighboring Nigeria, the peninsula is in severe underdevelopment. Underdevelopment challenges are making life quite difficult for inhabitants. Tonight, we show you the ugly face of underdevelopment precisely in Idabato on the Bakassi Peninsula. Legal minds have qualified his arrest, trial and detention for close to 2 years as illegal and arbitrary. The first vice president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement CRM political party, Mamadou Mota, was released yesterday, and we're taking you back into the arrest, trial and detention of the first vice president of the MRC political party with Fomi Amson-Sanda.
Known for his critical stance against the Biya regime, Mamadou Mota was arrested in June 2018 in connection to his participation in the Cameroon Renaissance Movement's political party's nationwide protest demonstration. The protest that began shortly after the October 7, 2018 presidential election in Cameroon had as objective to denounce what the party qualified as an electoral hold-up. Arrested for taking part in the banned peaceful protest demonstration, Mamadou Mota was billed for a trial at the military court before the infamous 22nd of July 2019. On this day, inmates of the Yaoundé Central Prison, predominantly Anglophones, rose up against poor imprisonment conditions and long detentions without trial at the prison facility. A protest that will later go violent, culminating in the burning of some sections of the prison and injuries sustained by several inmates. Mamadou Mota and others are accused of masterminding the mutiny and later slammed a 2-year jail term on Monday, the 19th of September 2019, for group rebellion and 2 other charges. Mamadou Mota, speaking after the court decision, said his jail sentence was purely political. He will finally be freed of 2 other charges and his sentence reduced to 18 months, a prison term which he duly served till Friday, February 5th, 2021, when he left the premises of the Kondengi maximum security prison in Yaoundé. His lawyer, Barrister Emmanuel Sim, who doubles as the 3rd national president of the CRM political party, says the legal battle of the CRM party will not end with the release of first national vice president Mamadou Mota. He notes that close to 150 CRM party supporters are still being detained in Douala, Yaoundé and Bafoussam.
The population and many other persons said to have been arrested and being detained arbitrarily are still in detention, including militants or members of Stand Up for Cameroon Civil Society platform, and the members of that platform and other civil society and political leaders are demanding for the immediate and unconditional release from the New Bell Detention Center in the Douala 2 municipality coming up, we take you now to Idabato in the Bakassi Peninsula, southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. It should be recalled that the authority of Cameroon was maintained in that part of the country following a diplomatic battle with neighboring Nigeria. And several years after Cameroon won the diplomatic battle, the area still remains underdeveloped, and underdevelopment challenges have simply been described as chronic in that part of the country. Details with our Southwest correspondent, Larry Jato.
The population of Idabato subdivision in the Bakassi Peninsula live at the mercy of nature when it comes to some basic needs, like potable water. These people here only have a sip of clean water when it rains. An attempt made by the Cameroon government has not driven home any victory. The dry season on this oil-rich and economic vibrant island is hell to many, as people turn to anything to quench their taste. To make matters worse, erosion is encroaching and very fast. Tume Etongo Efange, mayor of the Idabato Council, 440 million francs CFA adopted as the 2021 budget will be used to redress such burning issues.
My priority project, we need bridge to cross from Idabato 1 to Idabato 2. We need a boat, new boat and new engine. We need school and public toilet. But the main priority that we need in our project is sand filling and embankment. We cannot do otherwise. The one where states provide for us, we have to give time to states.
A budget being merely a forecast. Forwan Lawrence, the senior divisional officer for the Indian Division and the supervisory authority of councils in Indian Division, challenged these councillors to work as a team for better realization of the budget.
The budget the Lord Mayor has just presented is merely a focus, meaning that it is not money kept somewhere. After this session, the councillors have to go back to their various quarters, mobilize everybody living within their various quarters on the needs to pay their global taxes.
The estimated 50,000 inhabitants of Idabato subdivision in this Bakassi Peninsula are hopefully waiting for practical response from the power that be for the expected changes.
About 4 government institutions, including schools, have been consumed by the sea in that part of the country, notably in Idabato in the Bakassi Peninsula. The sea has swallowed schools and other government institutions there. And now we're going to talk about the commercial motorbike sector in the country's economic capital, Douala. Crossing the road has become a near-death trap for pedestrians in the town of Douala as a result of the disorder in the commercial motorbike sector. Commercial bike riders do not respect the highway code, and most often they fail to give way to pedestrians who are trying to cross the road, and many people crossing the road in the town of Douala exposed to the risk of being knocked down. Immaculate Fogwe went around town and now reports.
The high rate of fractures and fatal road accidents recorded in hospitals caused by commercial road riders in Cameroon is a major cause for concern. Crossing a road in Douala seems to be the most complicated activity for most pedestrians, given that a lot of those in the commercial motorbike sector hardly obey traffic rules, as they are always in a mad rush so as to meet up their daily target, thereby putting the lives of the population at risk. Some bike riders behave like zombies. I think it is because some of them did not go to school. Many of them have to learn how to respect each other. If they do, then the sector will be organized. They are always in a mad rush and hardly respect road signals, causing congestion. Sometimes they are very rude. The government needs to address the sector.
On devait les sensibiliser au point que même si un côté est bloqué, ils vont suivre leur côté.
An activity which used to be a blessing given the fact that it has employed several Cameroonian youths has over time degenerated into a traffic nightmare for road users in Douala. Pedestrians are calling for urgent enforcement of traffic laws by the government. There are few jobs in Cameroon, but this sector was able to employ several Cameroonians. Many of them who decided to carry out the activity were frustrated, reason why some drive carelessly.
C'est pas trop de leur faute, c'est aussi la mairie qui ne fait pas son travail.
I blame some council workers. They encourage reckless driving. Many of them continue receiving bribe. Some of these bike riders carry 3 persons at the same time. I know it is because they want to make ends meet, but they are putting people's lives at risk. Apart from the non-respect of the highway code, some bike riders are very rude towards passengers as they tend to threaten or even challenge them for no good reason. Human life is sacred, so there is a need to protect it. Bike riders have an urge to respect highway rules and equally make the sector great.
Now we go up north to Mary in the far north region of the Republic of Cameroon ahead of the National Youth Day celebration. We talked to some young people there who presented several challenges they are facing there. As far as young girls and women are concerned, they talked about the problem of early marriages. Many of them are forced into early marriages despite the disadvantage and the health problems or complications that it could bring to the victims of early marriages in the far north region of the country. It is still being practiced, and they have many other problems affecting them there. They have been, however, empowered by some government authorities, notably from the Ministry of Youth, to be able to meet up with some of the daily demands of life. Details in this report by Equinoxe.
Sewing machines, tricycles, computers and other electronics offered to youths and ex-Boko Haram fighters in Meri in the far north region of Cameroon. This is to empower them to be productive and develop their locality.
Aujourd'hui, on a reçu le don du ministre de la Jeunesse.
The donation from the Minister of Youth and Civic Education, they say, is very timely and imperative.
Pour que j'augmente ma productivité et employer les jeunes au niveau local.
They received the donations during a ceremony to launch the National Youth Week that also saw some educators sensitize parents to put school at the top and marriage at the bottom line. Young girls between the ages of 12 and 15 are sent into early marriages due to poverty instead of school. However, parents must strive and send their daughters to school.
Je parle précisément de ma localité, Pouloum.
To squeeze the neck of this phenomenon and other difficulties slowing development of this locality, the Meri municipality has also, during the ceremony, instituted a junior youth council charged with development contribution.
Se mettre au service du développement de notre localité, pourquoi pas de notre pays.
We will contribute to development of our locality, and why not Cameroon, and also nurture our younger ones to be development oriented and to become junior youth councillors like us.
Et puis apporter au moins les moyens efficaces pour combattre certains fléaux.
These youths who took oath before the minister immediately took up functions with hope to put in their best to change the face of their municipality, Meri.
U.S. immigration authorities are said to have cancelled a controversial deportation flight to Cameroon. Some political analysts say the stalled deportation of 60 black immigrants shows that the Biden administration can choose not to send asylum seekers back home. An observer said at the last minute yesterday the scheduled deportation flight did not depart from Alexandria, Louisiana for Cameroon as planned, but instead took off for Dallas without passengers on board. And U.S. President Joe Biden has promised to rebuild his country's partnership ties with the African Union. He did this moments after he delivered his first policy speech since taking office. His predecessor, Donald Trump, sparked a roar in 2018 over his alleged use of the word shithole to describe African nations. Trump later denied that he is not racist, and today the White House tweeted a video of President Joe Biden's remarks to the continent's organization ahead of its 34th summit. Take a listen to U.S. President Joe Biden.
I'm honored to send the best wishes of the people of the United States in advance of the 34th African Union Summit. This past year has shown us how interconnected our world is and how our fates are bound up together. That's why my administration is committing to rebuilding our partnership around the world and re-engaging with international institutions like the African Union. We must all work together to advance our shared vision of a better future, a future of growing trade and investment that advances prosperity for all our nations, a future that advances lives of peace and security for all our citizens, a future committed to investing in our democratic institutions and promoting the human rights of all people, women and girls, LGBTQ individuals, people with disabilities, and people of every ethnic background, religion, and heritage. To reach this future, we also must confront the serious challenges we face. That includes investing more in global health, defeating COVID-19, and working to prevent, detect, and respond to future health crises, and partnering with the African CDC and other institutions to advance health security. Raising our climate ambitions and ensuring developing nations can mitigate and adapt to climate impacts that are already causing pain. And engaging in sustained diplomacy in connection with the African Union to address conflicts that are costing lives all across the African continent. None of this is going to be easy, but the United States stands ready now to be your partner in solidarity, support, and mutual respect. We believe in the nations of Africa, in the continent-wide spirit of entrepreneurship and innovation. And through the challenges ahead, although they're great, there is no doubt that our nations, our people, the African Union, were up to this task. I hope I can be with you next time in person. I want to thank you, though. Thank you. May God bless you all.
In sports, the intermediate Lions of Cameroon will battle for a third place in the 2020 African Nations Championship CHAN when they take on Guinea in the third place game against Guinea at the Douala Reunification Stadium. And our sportsman, Smart Chikan Gabriel, says that's going to be the last chance for the intermediate Lions of Cameroon, the last opportunity for them to amend the humiliating 4-0 defeat against Morocco at the semi-finals.
After the humiliation they received from the hands of Morocco at the semi-finals of the tournament, 0-4, the intermediate Lions still have a chance of comforting their bittered supporters this Saturday when they challenge the intermediate Sili National squad of Guinea in the third place match. It will be an opportunity for Martin Tungumpile to rewrite the wrongs his boys committed when they were battered by Morocco. It is certain that one player, Yannick Njeng, won't be part of the squad after his dismissal for indisciplined attitude. Just like Morocco, Cameroon will be confronting the second most prolific team of the tournament with as many as 6 goals scored. without any key player to count on in the intermediate den for individuality, Guinea will still want to give all hopes to Moulay Salah, who failed to score in their penalty shootout against Mali at the semis to redeem the country. It will be the second time Guinea will be playing in the classification game at the African Nations Championship after 2016 in Rwanda, when they lost to Ivory Coast 1-2 to finish the tournament in 2016 on the fourth spot. To arrive at this stage of the tournament, Cameroon finished second in Group A with 5 points, eliminated the Democratic Republic of Congo 2-1 at the quarterfinals, and bowed before Morocco, defending champions at the semis, 0-4. While Guinea finished as leaders in Group D with 7 points, 6 goals for and 3 goals against, sent packing Rwanda at the quarterfinal stage, beating them 1-0, and lost at the semi-finals to Mali after post-match penalty shootout by 4-5.
Talking Point comes up next. Thank you for staying with us in today's edition of Talking Points. We are receiving a civil society leader, founder and president of BBF, Belinda Babler Foundation. Dr. Belinda Babler, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm honored and privileged to be here today.
We're going to be talking about the hundreds of thousands of English-speaking Cameroonians who are now internally displaced persons, IDPs, all over the country, and some who are refugees in neighboring Nigeria. You have been constantly working with these persons, talking with them, getting to know their challenges and bringing some aid to them as well. But before that, you're based in the United States of America. What does the coming to power of a Democrat, Joe Biden, mean to you as a black in the United States after 4 years of trouble, so to speak, with the Donald Trump administration?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to congratulate our president, Mr. Biden, and his administration. I think Africans would have a break from the very unrest and racial slur that we've had in the past years, this past 4 years. So we look forward to a more equitable social system. We look forward to favorable immigration policies for immigrants. And we look forward to having a lady as the first, well, not only lady, but the first African-American lady as a first vice president of the nation. Gives a lot of women hope, gives a lot of women aspirations, and especially to young African and African-American ladies or girls, that there's hope for everybody.
How was it living under the zero tolerance policy of Donald Trump for the past 4 years for the black people in the United States? How was it living in this system with lots of restrictions and policies that were not favorable to the black people?
Well, from every distress comes a change. We all know that, the Black Lives Matter movements have actually brought a lot of reforms. As far as the police system, there's been some restructuring. There's reforms have been passed. There's certain, you can't choke anybody anymore. So, in as much as it was a bitter pill, but something good is coming out of it. And we all know for certain that in Biden's administration, loads and loads of the police brutality and all we've seen in 2020 would be severely elevated, and fairness and equality would return into the communities within America, and blacks and whites would begin to be on that same status quo again, hopefully.
All right, back home, let's talk about the hundreds of thousands of Cameroonians from the northwest and southwest regions who are now internally displaced persons in different parts of the country, and some are refugees in neighboring Nigeria. You have been in contact with these people. You have been talking with them, discussing with them, getting to know their difficulties. What have they been telling you?
Well, from from face-to-face assessment with IDPs, and we all know that coming to Douala is an economic capital, and it's not quite cheap. So lifestyle here is quite elevated compared to where they came from. So there's already shelter problem. That's the number one huge problem. Second problem is, you know, trying to assimilate into a brand new system. So they're going through job searching, or for a better word, most of them did other kind of vocational trainings. They did, you know, farming, but they're just trying to re-assimilate into the society or into the community of Douala, and it's not quite easy. So they need shelter, they need support for their kids' education, they need, most of them need to be re-empowered themselves so they can be able to find a trade somewhere, maybe farmers. So again, education, shelter, support, just global support is what I would say.
You're a woman, and you will certainly best understand the specific challenges of women. We heard stories of some of the women being unable not only to put food on the table, to take care of themselves in terms of hygiene, some of them becoming prostitutes because they want to have something to eat. What information do you have about this?
Well, we saw the documentary at Consequence where lots of girls now have gotten into prostitution.
Have you talked with some of the girls who got into?
Well, I did, and they said the hardship is pushing them into that kind of lifestyle. But what we're proposing for them is, you know, empowerment, learn a skill, learn a trade, and you know, prostitution to me is not the only solution to alleviating your poverty or trying to make life better for yourself. So the proposal is, what do you want to do? What do you think you can do in life? So we can, you know, get you into that training system, be it vocational. If you think the general education is not your forte or your strength, then, you know, we can sponsor you into learning a vocational trade whereby after you finish your training, you know, however long it's going to take you, you can be self-sustainable. So pretty much looking at self-sustainability plans is what we're looking at, to me, these days, for the IDPs and the refugees. You know, while you guys are displaced, find a way to, you know, like they say, either give you lemon to make lemonade out of it. So while you guys are in distress, find a way to stay hopeful in your distressed situation by, you know, learn a trade, find a way to readapt, reaccommodate yourself, and trying to get the right word for it, but just dust it up and wake up. Because I mean, literally, at the end of the day, we're all responsible for our lives, and we can only assist you become what you ought to want to become. So everybody has a role to play. The IDPs have to decide that, yes, we've been displaced, but we need to find a way to better our lives by learning a trade, by just staying purposeful and meaningful.
And to do that, many of them have to come out of the trauma that they experience in the two English-speaking regions from where they escaped the cause of gun battles, bullets passing here and there, guns, gun sounds, hearing gun sounds every day. And how has it been to take them out of that trauma? How have you been managing to take them out of that trauma to be able to get them in the right mind frame to do some of those things that you're saying?
We're talking about mental health there, because if somebody's mental health is not stable, if they're not very optimal in their mental health, then it's going to be hard for them to even want to learn anything new. I think at this point, it is a reality, find a way to get into activities that'll get your mind off of it, because you staying in that depressed mental state is not really going to help you long run. I know it's not easy, but my take is getting them occupied with another vocational skill would slowly get their minds off the trauma that they've lived or they witnessed, or just, my take is get them busy into another activity so they can get their minds off the distress that they came from.
What about children? Children who escape from those two regions, some of them without their parents, some of them with their parents, some of them unable to go to school, some of them unable to have clothes to put on, and all of that stuff.
I think first and foremost, since it's a priority that every child goes to school, because the leaders of tomorrow have to be educated. An uneducated leader cannot lead people, so it is primordial that the kids stay in school so they can develop their mental faculty and be ready to be leaders of tomorrow. So as far as that, what BBBF is doing under our educational platform is sponsoring kids into primary schools, especially like we have coming up 13th of February. This is the month of love. February is the month of love. BBF would collaborate with 2 other foundations here in Cameroon. Hopefully, we're trying to just give them hope in distress. So, peace concert, hygiene campaign, non-perishable food items give back, medical outreach, just to let them know that in this month of love, we still care about you guys, and to restore hope in their distress. So we are planning a love fest, February 13th. We're planning a love fest February 13th at Lycée Polyvalent in Bonneberry, and I will be doing that with the Cindy Amada Foundation. We will collaborate together and give back to IDPs come Saturday next week.
All right, the refugees in neighboring Nigeria. What about the refugees in neighboring Nigeria?
Well, we're hoping that peace returns, and so that, people can really get a chance to go back to their dwellings, because as we all know, living in a strange land isn't the best, especially when you didn't go there voluntarily, you went there, circumstances got you there. It's not really easy. It's not, holistically, it's not easy. Mentally, people just left their homes, loved ones and everything. So my plea is that, peace restores, or peace returns, and that people get normalcy in lives, and then, begin to live their lives normally again. Because, like I said, nobody wants to be forced out of their homes by circumstances. So we're just, as a humanitarian, I advocate for peace and national justice. So peace is a word I have to say today.
When you talk to some of the English-speaking Cameroonians who came from the northwest and southwest regions of the country and who are in neighboring Nigeria, do they express the desire to return home, or some of them have simply said, we don't want to go there?
No, absolutely. Everybody wants, they want to return home. They absolutely want to return home, but then they want to return to a peaceful environment. And you and I would agree that nobody really wants to stay overseas as a refugee in a land. But for them to come back, they have to, be sure that they're coming back into a peaceful environment, so they can be able to raise their families and stay in a peaceful community.
All right, let's wrap up with a book that you published.
Yes.
I'm interested in the title of that book.
When No One Believes in You.
When No One Believes in You. Yes. When no one believes in you, it turns to be something like, heaven and earth coming down on you.
Well, the book, it's an inspiration from my trajectory in life. I believe that, for you to get to where you want to get to in life, it's a choice, and you'd have to decide to work to get there, and nobody's gonna hand it to you via a spoon. There's a lot of sacrifices that you'd have to make. You'd have to be almost dead to yourself and ready to pay the price to achieve the dreams that we all aspire to achieve. So I don't believe in luck. I believe in hard work. I believe in dedication, consistency, extreme focus, determination. I believe that we all can attain whatever it is that we want to attain, as long as we set our minds to read. We're ready to focus, and there's tools that we have to retool our minds to be able to achieve those kind of dreams that we want to achieve. You'd have to be ready to pay the price.
Dr. Belinda, you know that it becomes quite difficult, quite complicated. When no one believes in you anymore, it becomes difficult to concentrate, to focus, to be determined, to be committed, and to push forward. So when no one believes in you, what should you do? You give up?
No. When no one believes in you, that's when you pick up yourself and you make people believe in you via your results that you give out.
you remain determined.
Absolutely.
Right. Dr. Belinda Babla, Civil Society Leader, Founder and President of BBF, Belinda Babla Foundation. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today. Equinoxe comes up next.